Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 506 of the DrunkNerds Podcast. I'm as always, I am Tyler, and join me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Well, to put it bluntly, I'm kind of warm right now.
Yes, it is very warm.
As with the other type of heating trend around the United States currently, Washington State is no different. But unlike the certain extremes in other places like Iowa and stuff, it's actually within the 80s and somewhat of like the early 90s. Maybe like once or twice this week it's been like this. But yeah, as blatantly as you can hear in the background, listeners, yes, I have my heater on because, well, I do not want to sweat my ass off.
You have your heater on?
Fan on.
Fan on, okay. I was like, wait a second, what? Maybe that's why you're hot, Gables. My heater is in the closet.
Once again, I am tired and the heat is doing stuff to me.
I understand it. It gets you all sticky and humid. Yeah, it's brutal out. It's brutal out there.
But how?
To quote Olivia Rodrigo. So.
But how are you doing, Tyler?
I'm doing all right. About the same. It's hot as always. It's summer. It's hot everywhere, but it's it's whatever. It's hot. It's gonna get hotter. It's it's August is in a couple days, so it's whatever. But doing okay. Clanging and banging as always. That Gables. It's been a nice little day. Having a day off and chilling out, relaxing. It was a weird day though, where I feel like the day just got away from me. I was right over to my parents' house earlier because my sister got COVID. She's a nurse at a hospital, so she got COVID again, and second time getting it. She got it like into 2020, and then I'm pretty lucky, and then got it again. And so when I got COVID earlier this year, she was like extremely helpful for me. She went because I couldn't go anywhere, and I didn't have it's just me here. So she was super helpful for me. Like she went and grocery shopping for me and brought me some medicine, stuff like that. A couple times while I was stuck in my apartment for a week. So I figured it'd be nice, and I brought her some Starbies. We're both big Starbucks fans, so brought her a Starbies, stuff like that, and then went over and talked to parents, stuff like that. So it's been. But I was telling them, I'm like, I was like, oh, my mom was like, what you been doing today? I'm like, I don't know. It's like what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, I feel like I woke up at like 7 this morning, which is kind of late for me. Usually I'm up by like 6 or so. It was nice sleeping in. And then I told her, I'm like, next thing I know, it was like 3 o'clock. I'm like, I don't know what she's like, well, like, what have you been doing? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, did you take a nap? I'm like, no, that's the thing. Like normally I take I told her like, that's what made me realize it was 3 o'clock was like, I was like, oh, I usually on Saturday I like to take like a early afternoon nap and stuff like I like to get up early, usually not but I usually just wake up like early at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then like get up, drink a pot of coffee, play a game of Madden while I drink my coffee like I usually do on the weekends. I didn't even do that. I'm like, I played some Fortnite today and like I wanted to beat As Dusk Falls and I didn't even do that. I'm on the last chapter. I'll talk about that later. But like my plan was to beat that and like catch up on some shows, stuff like that, because I haven't had any time to do anything really during the week because I'm getting off so late. And I was just like, I'm gonna catch up on some stuff. And I'm like, I didn't do any of that. I don't know what I did today. It was just like I went to go take a nap, and it was like 3 o'clock. And I'm like, oh well, I guess I'm not taking a nap. And then it's 5:45, and I'm over here bringing coffee to my sister. I'm like, and then now I'm here recording. So, Gables, I have no fucking clue what I did today. I don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, it's nice to like, have a day, but on the other hand, I'm like, fuck, man, like I don't know what I did. But that's what's going on with me. I'm just. It's been a day. It's been a foggy day. I did get a cool thing in the mail though today.
All right, what'd you get in the mail?
I got this here. It is an Extra Life puzzle.
Oh, hey, that's cool.
Frame here for people without reflection, but it's hard to get without reflection. It's possible, but it's a cool thing for people that are like the premium members. For Extra Life, you got a free 1,000-piece puzzle. I didn't realize how big it was. It's actually like it's bigger. Here, I'll try to get it from here. It's like the size of my head. Like the picture does not do it justice. Like the pictures of it, like they show you on, like you see on like Twitter and stuff like that. Like I thought it was like a little tiny, like a little box or whatever. Now this fucking thing is huge. It's 1,000 pieces. I had no idea. So that's pretty cool. So I got that in the mail today. So
are you gonna frame it?
Yeah, that's what literally I was going to say. I was like, I want to like, I know there's a way to like you can, like put it together and then like kind of like I don't know how like you get like glue it and stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have my mic there. Sorry about that. But yeah, I want to be able to frame it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's what kind of what I want to do is do all that. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, that's coming up. Gables, we're coming up on that one rapidly.
Yes, we are.
Just a few months away there on that one. Yeah, about 3 months away. I want to bring up Gables. I talk about Anthem.
Yes.
Last week playing it for Extra Life. I was like, I posted on the Talk Ship group. I'm like, it's guys, it's a penny. Like, we got to do a gamer night soon. And someone pointed out to me, Gables, I can't believe I totally spaced this. I can't believe this. Someone brought up immediately. Someone said it's on Game Pass. I'm like, oh my God, you're 100% right. Like, why would I pay a penny and mail it to Gables when we could just play it on, what do we call Game Pass, Gables?
Oh, the best deal in gaming.
Yeah, don't fucking yell at me when you're talking about Game Pass, Gables. It's exciting news. You gotta be hyped all the time when talking about Game Pass. But Gables, let's not do Anthem.
Okay.
Let's not do Anthem.
Okay.
I don't want to do Anthem.
Okay.
I was thinking about this after we recorded. I was like 4 beers in when I had the idea, and a lot of things sound good. It's like I planned a lot of trips with my buddies. 4 or 5 beers in, at night. Like, hey, we're going to cruise next year, guys. Let's fucking do it. Why don't we do it? And then nothing happens. But anyways, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I remember playing it in 2019 for Extra Life. I'm like, that's been my big Extra Life game. Played it for like 2 hours. I'm like, this game is not fun. So and then I thought about that, and then I had flashbacks to.
You had flashbacks to it.
Was it 2 years ago? Was it 2020 or 2021 when we played Resident Evil 6? Was that last year we did that?
Not last year. It was the year before that. It was in like 2020.
Okay. Yeah, and I thought about I flashbacks to that. I'm like, I've never been so mad and not having fun during Extra Life. So let's not do that.
Dude, all I remember from that party, chat, is us playing portions of Resident Evil 6 through Chris's campaign, because you have told me that was the worst portion of the game itself. And so, of course, I wanted to do that one first to get it out of the way. And what ended up happening was disconnecting of the lobby.
And the game sucked.
All of us were playing that. Yeah, and the game subsequently kept getting worse until we finally finished the damn game. But I didn't get any credit for the achievements because...
Gables, do you really want to say credit? Is that the term you want to use?
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. Yeah, it sucks not getting the... You did the crime, but you didn't get the benefits of doing the crime.
True.
So I get that. But yeah, it was not a good time. So I was like, I never so badly just wanted to just... Like I definitely want. There's like every Extra Life. There's that point where I was like, I just don't want to play games anymore. But usually it's because I'm tired. I'm just like, I'm straight up not having a good time anymore. Like, I just want to, like, I'm so mad. I don't want to play video games anymore. And like, we still have like 12 more hours at that point. So I'm like, it's hard. Extra Life's hard. Like, I literally did this as a tip last year at our Extra Life podcast we did, where it's like, play games you want to play. Don't play good games. Don't force yourself to play bad games, because it's hard enough as it is. I'm like, I'm breaking one of the biggest rules of Extra Life, is try to make it as fun as possible. Don't make yourself play shitty games. So let's scratch that from the record. So but Gables.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I think the thing that we did last year in regards to getting kind of close to that was when we were playing like the Predator, like hunting stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we spent maybe a match or two, and we just decided to ourselves like, this is not fun.
Well, the problem was we're having issues getting into games.
Yep.
And then at that point, the game had been out for like a year and a half. So the only people playing the game
are the ones
who are like
hardcore into it.
The king of kings of Predator. Yeah. So it's like just getting wrecked. It's like, man, like I bought the game at launch and I was really good at the game. And now it's like, fuck, I haven't played it since launch and I'm terrible at this game. So, everybody's just really good at the game now. So that's left, all 12 of them. So, yeah, no, definitely. Just try to play good games during Extra Life. But anyways, Gales, Extra Life's 2 months away.
Yes.
let's jump into some news here. But before we do that, if you're watching this, listening to us, whatever, please, look down in those show notes. You'll find all the links to everything we're on: Twitter, Facebook, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, all that. If you're on any of those things right now, leave us a 5-star review, leave us a comment, share, like, subscribe, whatever you can do to all that. If you're watching us, go to whatever, go to Apple or go to Spotify, whatever you use for podcasting. Go there too, subscribe to us, give us a 5-star review, and vice versa. If you're listening to us, go on YouTube and like, follow, subscribe. Hit that like button over there for, backwards for me. I pointed the wrong way. Hit that like button over there for Gables. It clicks right in his junk. He likes that. He's giving big thumbs up for it. He's looking forward to that like. It's going to get him through his week. He's just going to be at work on a Tuesday, sitting there at 10 a.m., tired as shit, midday through his work day. And all of a sudden, someone's going to like this video, and he's going to perk up. He's going to be really excited. It's going to get him through the rest of his day. Gables needs that likes. Dude, click the likes for Gables. If you don't click the like button, Gables will die.
No.
I know he won't die. I'm sorry.
No.
Well, no, he won't. He'll outlive all of us. If you don't click like, I will murder Gables.
Oh, no, you won't.
I shouldn't. I won't. I don't have enough. How much flights cost right now? I can't afford to go travel.
It's a curse.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, this is a video game podcast where we primarily drink beer and talk about video games. Well, I drink beer, and then we talk about video games. So let's jump into it, Gables. Been a pretty good news week, I think. Pretty good. So spicy news is going out there this week, Gables.
Okay.
Let's start off on Monday. Jeff Grubb teased it Sunday night on Twitter and announced it on Monday morning that Black Panther, there is a single player game, apparently super duper early in development. EA is the publisher for it. According to Jeff Grubb here, the title is super early in development and is a single player game. A new Seattle studio founded by former Monolith Productions VP and studio head Kevin Stevens is likely working on the project. For people who remember Monolith Productions, that is the people that made like the Shadow of Mordor games.
All right.
They had the Nemesis system, stuff like that. So
right.
I know a lot of people had what was the first game? There was Shadow of Mordor was the sequel, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Shadow of Mordor was the sequel.
I played the first game. I can't remember.
Shadow of War, I think was the sequel.
Shadow of War, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Shadow of Mordor was the first game.
Okay, so Shadow of Mordor was the first game. That was a lot of people's game of the year for 2014. And man, that Nemesis system, I remember, was like incredible at the time. And I liked what I played of it. But that's that studio. That's what they made. So yeah, this is apparently their new studio. This is the new studio that the VP of that started his new one. He's working with EA. I don't know if EA owns them or if they're just working with EA on this. I'm not sure. But like I said, they're publishing it. And basically the beginning of it is starting with the death of one Black Panther. Players take on a character that is becoming the new incarnation of Wakanda.
Okay.
Of the Wakanda hero, sorry. So if people don't kind of know the lore of Black Panther, I know the lore because of the movie. The MCU basically, but basically, when one Black Panther dies, it's a normal person. Like in the movie, T'Challa's T'Challa. I can't remember how to say his name. I always say it wrong. His dad was Black Panther. He dies. Spoiler alerts for that movie. And then T'Challa takes over and becomes Black Panther, and that's basically how it works out. Is basically once one Black Panther dies, somebody else takes the mantle. So basically that's the idea here. Is no idea if it's T'Challa. No, I can't even say it at all anymore. No idea if who's dying and taking it over, but apparently it sounds like it's gonna be like a creative character in this, and it's supposed to be an open world game. But that's all we know right now. I know, Gables, you're not the biggest Marvel guy. I know you like the Spider-Man games, stuff like that. But I mean, is this tickling your fancy at all?
I do like that it kind of ties into like kind of the real life things to where the actor for Black Panther recently passed on due to illness.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, Boseman, stuff like that. I do like the idea that for this Black Panther game, it's basically you assuming the role as becoming the next Black Panther and stuff, and you cementing yourself through create a character and stuff, so you can model it after pretty much either after your likeness or whatever the heck. I am kind of interested in seeing the directions they will go in terms of like an open world style of game in the Black Panther universe. I mean, I never have really delved too far into it. I have seen little advertisements for the movie here and there and stuff like that, but I'm not too familiar with the whole Black Panther lore, like not as much as what Tyler knows, obviously, but I'm interested in seeing the direction that this new Seattle-based studio will go with it.
Yeah. I mean, like, we don't know who's going to be, like, who's the main people working on it outside of, like, we have the head of, former head of Monolith Productions. But, I mean, he's put out a couple good games in the past people really like. So we know there's good pedigree there.
Right.
EA has a lot of money in their back. I mean, I feel like the opinions of people with EA is slowly turning. They have decades of bad PR, press, whatever you want. Like, just from gamers' standpoint, there's not a lot of good PR for them in a long time. And I feel like that's slowly turning. We have like Fallen Order, Skate, stuff like that coming back into football. They're slowly turning the tides of that, going back to some of the things we loved about them, in the 90s and even some of the cool shit they did in the 2000s. So, yeah, like I said, it's like they're turning that around. It's obviously never going to be 100% be good. People aren't going to fully believe them, but
Right.
Anyways, like I don't know. I think this could be cool. I don't know how I feel about the whole idea of a creative character thing. I almost would like. I understand like it's more the name and the suit than anything, but it's like I wouldn't want to play a Spider-Man game where you're not Peter Parker.
Yeah, I can understand that perspective. I mean, yeah, you do bring up a good point. I mean, if you want to play a superhero game and stuff, wouldn't you want to be the most well-renowned character that's known for that superhero role?
Yeah,
like for example, like say Clark Kent with Superman, Bruce Wayne as Batman, Peter Parker as Spider-Man, and Bruce Banner as the Hulk. But for this game being a created character for the Black Panther and stuff like that, I mean, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from with that stuff, but I kind of feel like even after like the movie came out for the MCU and stuff, I don't feel like there as many people familiar with all the Black Panther mythos as there may be to kind of justify. But at the same time, yeah, it is sort of weird that they went with the directive of like a created character stuff. But
yeah. I mean, we don't know that for sure yet, but that's kind of the assumption from like what we've heard and what Jeff Grubb said he heard. I don't know. I just I don't know. I kind of like. I just sometimes with the created character stuff, like especially like for a really good story, sometimes like the whole created character thing can be kind of rough, and usually like you substitute the creatability for like story. Sometimes I feel like in games, so like I think of like most of the best like stories in open world games. Typically, it's like you're a set character, so I can't think of very many like that have had that and like had like a considered like excellent story. So I don't know. I'm open for it. Obviously, like this is years away, but I don't know. I can't wait to see it. I hope like we got like a Wolverine game coming. We have the Spider-Man 2 coming next year supposedly, and then this. And is there something I'm forgetting? I feel like there's like another Marvel game that I'm not thinking of.
Well, other than like the whole Midnight Suns thing that's happening this year.
Oh, Midnight Suns. You're right. Thank you for that. Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, but like we'll wait and see. But I feel like we're in a good time. It's a good time to be a gamer, but if you're a comic book gamer, it's a really great time. But Gables, it's not a great time to be a Star Wars fan, and it hasn't felt like it since Episode 7 came out. Like I feel like that's the last time it felt like good to be a Star Wars fan. And it just seems to be getting worse right now, even on the video game side. I know a lot of people like. I didn't love Fallen Order. I thought it's a really good 7.5. I didn't think it was much better than that, but a lot of people loved it, and I'm excited for the sequel, and a lot of people are very excited for the sequel. But even more exciting for people was the fact that there was a KOTOR remake coming. Neither Republic, one of the most beloved RPGs, one of the most beloved Star Wars things ever for a lot of people. From as BioWare before Mass Effect. And it was revealed last September that during the PlayStation Showcase that the KOTOR remake was in development. It was going to be exclusive to PlayStation on consoles, at least timed exclusive. And apparently the game has been in development since 2018, so 3 years at that point. But we didn't get any gameplay. We just saw a teaser for it. And that was it. No, not even a CGI trailer. So, but I said this at the time when they first announced it with Aspire is making it, and I thought it was interesting that Aspire is making it because people don't know about Aspire. It's a name you've probably seen a million times, but you couldn't really put your finger on what they've worked on. They are almost primarily a port studio. They ported a ton of and a lot of mobile games. They port a lot of mobile games, but they've done a lot of they did the port for Witcher 3 to the Switch. They ported they ported KOTOR 1 and 2 to the Switch. There was that N64 game they ported. I think they ported the
Star
pod
Wars
racing
Episode
game.
1, the Pod Racer.
Yeah, well they did that one. There's another Star Wars one they did too. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it wasn't 64 I'm thinking of, but I mean they have a lot of history with working with Star Wars and Disney in the past with specifically with reporting, but I mean this is basically that's what they're known for. That's they've never worked on anything really other than that. This month, July, July 30th, as of recording this, they actually fired their game design director Brad Prince and art director Jason Miner just a couple weeks ago. The pair were reportedly dismissed shortly after the studio finalized a demo of the game to show to the production partners Lucasfilms and Sony. Aspire studio heads are said to have informed staff this month that the demo hadn't met internal expectations and work on the game was being paused, with the company planning to seek new development opportunities. So some of the stuff it's very interesting. There's a lot of I don't know what what the issue is. I know what the issue is, but I don't know. It's very interesting. So apparently no idea if the demo people were if Lucasfilms and Sony were upset with the quality of it, the art direction of it, or the fact so apparently they were under the influence that the game was going to release this year, but from the reporting back from when it was first announced, this game was 2025 at the earliest. But it sounds I don't know if Aspire told them they can have it out this year or what, but this were no one's really been able to figure out. So it's was the demo actually good, but they were upset because it sounds sorry, the fucking plane went over, shook the whole fucking apartment. Damn. Scared the shit out of me there. But I live a quarter mile from the airport. But anyways, so no idea. Like I said, if was the quality of the demo bad, or was it it's so a lot of it is it was the budget was way more than what they anticipated. I don't know if it doesn't. It sounds like they just want we hear about remakes. EA is doing the Dead Space remake, and Resident Evil's been really doubling down on those Resident Evil remakes because they're cheaper and quicker to make because you already have a story and characters in place. And yeah, obviously they're making changes to them, minor changes to the story, but obviously they're rebuilding the games. But you don't have to spend a lot of time, obviously designing characters and a story because that stuff's already pretty much in place for you. So it's it just wasn't moving it obviously they wanted it this year, and they're talking about 3 more years. But yeah, like I said, was the quality of the game not looking good enough? Was it the budget? Is it just a combination of everything? That's the part that I'm fascinated by. It's I want to know more about that side of it. And it sounds like the Aspire didn't sound like it was coming together poorly because the people at Aspire were blindsided by this because they thought they were really proud of what they were showing Lucasfilms and Sony. So that's what makes me think that it's more of a budget and time thing than it is anything else. Yeah. So so yeah. Okay, here it is. So one Bloomberg source. This is all Jason Schreier. We have another story from him next after this. Source suggested too much time and money had been invested in the demo, and a more realistic release window is now would be 2025. And also, so Aspire was also they're under who's the name of that suit? Starts with the people that are gobbling up everybody. The THQ Nordic people.
Oh my gosh, it's something Rock.
No. It's run tip of my tongue. People are yelling at us right now for it, but we're just gonna move on from that. But they're buying up everybody. They just bought up Tomb Raider and all that too. Yes. But anyways, so they just recently got purchased. Spire did by them, and they also Koch Media.
Yes.
But they also own Saber Interactive, and Saber was helping working on the game.
Yes, they were.
Now it sounds like so the game's been put on hold, but it sounds like Saber potentially will be taking over the whole thing. So I don't know. It's very fascinating. It's one of these things where it's like when I first heard about this, I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it's kind of the downside, I guess, sometimes of like announcing things too early. But it's like the fact that like they've been working on it since 2018 when they announced it in 2021. So 3 years of development, that's not early. I mean, that typically for a full-fledged game, that's about midway through development time. So I don't know, Gables. Like I've never played the game. I've always wanted to, and I was actually excited about this because I was hoping for like they would change it up, maybe make it more action-based instead of turn-based. But what's your thoughts on all this?
It makes me more interested in seeing the tech demo that was presented towards the bigwigs, because depending upon the quality of the demo itself, I mean, I probably would get a full-on understanding why it was initially delayed indefinitely or canceled until whatever and
Put on
stuff like that,
pause.
put on pause and stuff. Because that's the thing, though. You don't go forth and cancel a game that's like 3 years into development unless something
Now
was
4 years.
presented. Or yeah, exactly. And not to that point, unless they saw something that was like, oh no, 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 no. It could be nearly anything in this regards. It could be from time management and money spent, like you were suggesting. It could be the whole quality of the remaster itself. Maybe things were radically changed because there were various story directors and everything else that were kind of placed inside of like a predominant role inside of this remaster of a classic game and stuff that maybe they didn't jive well with that, you know? I mean, you can't really rule out a lot because it's like it could have been a multitude of a lot of different things. I mean, it could also play in roles to how Star Wars as a franchise right now is doing commercially, you know, which is give or take what you've heard from like some other Star Wars fans to where they're maybe middling and like maybe lesser of a quality
Middle in the
than what they
bag.
were
Yeah.
when the whole like episode 7 came out, you know, and it's like, or even the introduction of the whole Disney trilogy in general, you know, where the whole popularity for Star Wars going on to the release of episode 7, you know, that it was a pretty good place, you know, blah, blah, blah. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the media content after that series, after that trilogy of movies ended and stuff, plus the whole business decisions in regards to Disney and this and that, you know, collaboration and stuff. But for this game in general, it just sounds like a bunch of possible mismanagement things that could have led to a subpar release of a demo. It could have been all various amounts of money stuff that you've suggested, but the number one thing I get from this whole thing is I want to see the demo myself. I want to see what was presented and to make it so where they felt it was a need to absolutely put this game on pause in order to get this thing reworked. Because, like I've stated before, you know, if you're a major company and this was supposed to be an exclusive for my platform and like I've spent this or helped shell out this much money to get this thing and it looks like that or it looks like a terrible quality that we can't put out, I mean, hell, I like to see what was that final draw, but that's
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah, I'm like based off of like the fact that like the people working on the game were blindsided by the response from Sony and Lucasfilms tells me that it's kind of what they assume that it's more like the timeline and the money. You know, like I said, usually remakes are quicker and cheaper to put out, and you know, who knows, maybe it's just I mean, and like I said, Aspire is like they've never worked on a big game before. Like I said, they've only ever ported games, so like and like remasters, like
right.
so they've never had to do like something like a full blown remake of a AAA game. So maybe this is one of those things where like it seemed that maybe they were doing a good job of making it, but not to like the price point and the speed that everybody else was like. Well, it could have been one of those things where like management wrote a check that not that the team couldn't cash, they didn't know they had a right kind of thing.
Well, yeah.
So it could have been just like I've definitely been in like past jobs where it's like I'm in that middle management role where it's like cool. Management just promised our customers that we're gonna do this thing, and I'm like, well, I'm the guy that's gotta figure out how we're doing it and also break the news to the team, and that's not happening. So I've been that guy that's like in the rule where it's like, well, you guys just made all these promises that just aren't realistic. So like then they're gonna get mad at you guys, and then it's gonna trickle down. I call it trickle down bullshit.
Yeah.
Where you make promises that to people that we can't actually do, that we're responsible for doing. So then they get mad at you, and then you get mad at us. And I'm like, well, I told you 4 months ago that we couldn't do that. But maybe it's one of those things where they just didn't tell the team that they weren't doing it at all, and they thought they were just fine and going along with their day. And then, oh no, actually, we're supposed to do this. We just didn't tell you guys. So I don't know. But anyways, Gibbles, let's move on to some other development news here. This is also from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, so a busy week for him. So we got a bunch of GTA 6 news out of this one. So very interesting here. So for the first time ever, a female character sounds like it will be playable. She'll be Latina, and it'll be part of a pair that'll be a Bonnie and Clyde type story. So there'll be a male and a female. So kind of like what we've seen with GTA 5, where there's 3 characters. But pretty interesting. First time playing as a female in the internet. Let me tell you guys, they're taking it really well. Nobody's mad whatsoever about that at all. They're very happy about it. Everybody's been really respectful on the internet, Gables, let me tell you. Is my sarcasm coming through at all?
Yes.
I can't tell. Okay. It's also planning to grow over time, it seems. Basically, the game is going to take place in Miami, which is Vice City in their world. Original plans for GTA 6 called for a large swath of both North and South America. But Rockstar has reportedly pulled back a bit and cut the map down to a fictional version of Miami and the surrounding area. Part of that is to kind of cut down on, and they're going to add that stuff possibly over time, but the idea is they want to reduce. Big part of it, like we've heard a lot over the last 3 or 4 years now, is like the crunch at Rockstar, and it's been very bad. We had the two Hauser brothers that have been basically in charge for a long time, and it sounds like one of them left, I think, in 2018 or 2019. And one was just sounds like one everybody really liked, and the other one I can't think of his name. I can't remember his first name. He basically left because he was just awful to work for and just kind of ran people in the ground. And so yeah. Anyways, so we can circle back to that, but yeah. So Rockstar plans to continually update the new GTA over time. This includes adding new missions and cities on a regular basis in hopes of reducing crunch in the final months. Things seem to have changed, though. One employee described modern Rockstar to Bloomberg as a boys' club transformed into a real company. Morale is reportedly higher than ever across the company. More producers have reportedly been added to track schedules and avoid overtime. And right now, at the earliest, 2024 is kind of what the timeline is. But soon, with video games, more likely 2025, 2026. So, I mean, Gables, kind of before we jump into the whole company morale and crunch, what's your overall thoughts on what we've heard from these leaks?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I am interested in learning more about the whole aspect of the story mode, only because for this type of story, they're kind of basing it on a modern day Bonnie and Clyde sort of feel between one of the female protagonists and stuff, plus other members of the party in that regards. But yeah, I'm more interested in seeing the direction that goes. I'm also wondering about what they could possibly improve upon in terms of their whole single player not just narrative stuff, but just single player gameplay in and of itself. I mean, GTA 5, as much as I did initially play it when it first launched on the PS3 and the 360 and stuff, it's one of those infamous things where I played it for a long while, counted a game-breaking glitch. That was unlucky for me, but at the same time, I recognize that it was a massive game there were plenty of things to do inside the single-player perspective of it. I'm more looking forward to that as opposed to the whole GTA Online stuff, because I don't give a shit about GTA Online. I understand there's a bunch of people that really love it, and you know what? More power to them. They'll spend their microtransactions, they'll do their bullshit and this and that, they'll do their various chaos stuff. But in regards to the whole single player thing for GTA 6, I just want it to be good. I want to see the product myself before I initially judge whether or not there's going to be a lot of also various stereotype bullshit, or if there's going to be any type of whatever type of things. I'd much rather would see the product in of itself than just basically just assume something's going to happen in one direction or completely go into another direction, because we're just hearing these supposed leaks from Schreier And so it could basically be anything. Things could change from here on to the supposed release of GTA 6 in 2024. So,
I mean, I'm never. Yeah, I'm like I've never been a Rockstar guy. Like I've played all their games except for Red Dead Redemption 2 since GTA 3. And like I've talked about in the past, Bully's the one game of theirs I really liked, and I finished. I always play their games for a good chunk of time and then burn out. Probably like 15 hours in. Like I played GTA 5. I played a good chunk of that. I remember playing that. Like one of my favorite memories actually is playing that game. The weekend it came online. I remember the online came out like 2 weeks after the game came out, and it was me and Jake and Dave from Sarcastic Gamer and Doc Adams, who created Extra Life. Actually, we all were playing online together at night, and we just started to do like 18 holes of golf, and I changed my character, and he was in his underwear and just making Doc laugh like hysterically because like it like panned out and all of a sudden you just see my character in his underwear golfing. I have a lot of good memories playing that. I remember playing it like obviously when I was a kid, way too young, like 11, 12 years old, playing GTA 3 and shit like that with my buddies. On PS2 playing GTA 4. I actually did not like GTA 4. Driving your cousin around and in real time sitting in a taxi to fast travel was not fun. But I mean, I don't know. I'm curious. Like I'm always curious. Like I think they do make really great games. Obviously, like people love their games, and there's a reason GTA 5 is one of the best-selling games of all time, or the best-selling game of all time. I'm like you. I don't think I'm ever gonna get to like their online. Maybe I'll dabble in it when GTA 6 comes out if I do in fact play it. But I don't know. I'm excited for it, and like I'm curious what like they said they're trying to change up the humor to like not punch down so much. And I've heard a lot of people, obviously internet taking that very well. Also, nobody's mad about that either. And I don't know. Like I'm gonna go on a mini rant, Gable, so bear with me here. You could still make jokes at other people's expenses. It's just, I think, be smart about it. Make good jokes, you don't have to make the same like lazy ass jokes all the time. That's my opinion. It's kind of like for my example, just using me as a person here. I am a ginger. I have pale skin. I am I would have what you call a weight problem. And I've heard the same like 5 fucking jokes my entire life about being a ginger with pale skin. I get it. Yes, the carpet does in fact match the drapes. I don't have a soul. I burn very easily. These are things I'm fully aware of. And every day, literally, I don't go a day when I go out in public. I'm at work or around people. Like I hear the same fucking jokes. Or I like, and it's just like, I do like the fake laugh, or I'll make the same joke I made 1,000 times to like go with their joke. And it's just kind of like I get irritated by it, not because I'm offended, but because it's just like, we get it. It's like, it's the easy, like, and I know I probably do the same thing to other people too, when like with shit, but we probably all do it. But it's just like, can we like think of something more creative, and that's, I think a lot of people feel that way. It's like when people get mad about a joke or get mad at comedians about some jokes they make, or it's like, it's the same joke you've been telling for 50 fucking years. Like, just do something a little different. I mean, maybe I'm off base on that one, but it's like, so every now and again I'll get like a brand new joke that I've never heard of about like being a redhead or pale skin or something like that. And if it makes me laugh, or if it's good, hey, I'll give you props. I'll laugh at it real good. I have a pretty good sense of humor. I could take some jokes I make for myself more than anybody. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like people are getting upset about the woke, which is like the most annoying word in the out there now. It's taken over entitled for me, as it was the most annoying word when as soon as I hear someone say that, I just stop listening to them. Yeah, I that's my opinion on that. Is like, you could still make jokes at other people's expense. Just I mean, don't be so fucking lazy about it. And I don't know, like that's kind of my opinion on it. But I mean, kind of moving on here to the crunch thing. I know, I mean, like that's good. I'm glad that they're getting rid of it. They're working on it. And I don't, when people, I think what people think when they hear crunch is it's like, well, I work 50 hours a week. I work more than 40 hours a week at my job, so they can get the fuck over it. When they say crunch, I think the difference is they're probably still working 50 plus hours a week, 50 hours a week. But they're working like Hauser would say himself, he would work 100 plus hour weeks while making these games. And that was part of the problem with GTA 4, GTA Online, and Red Dead Redemption 2, and before that even, was that like a lot of the employees were working 80, 90, 100-hour weeks, not 60, 70 hours a week, 50 hours a week, whatever.
Yeah, that's just hard to imagine that. But at the same time, yeah, that's shit did happen, and that really led to burnout for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, and like we've heard a story about, like we heard about Halo 2, when like they talk about like people would like literally just sleep under like work until middle of the night, sleep under their desk, and get up, sleep for a few hours, get up, and then continue working. Like we hear about the stories. And I'm just like, I just don't understand people get mad about that. It's like when people are like, well, I work 50 hours a week, I work 60 hours a week. I'm like, okay, I get it. You're miserable. Why should other people be miserable too because you're miserable?
Yeah, true.
Like, that's my opinion. True. It's like when I was when I was in my early 20s and I would hear about people like complaining about working 50 hours a week. I'm like, well, I work 55 hours this week. Shut the fuck up about it. I'm like, now that I'm older and I'm in my 30s, and I'm like, man, I wasted my entire 20s working 60, 70 hours a week. And I'm not bragging about that. I'm like, that was really fucking stupid of me for companies that, quite frankly, didn't give a shit about me. And proved it over time that they didn't give a shit about me. And I feel that same way with, like I look at now in my near mid 30s, that hurt to say, where it's like, it's like when I hear people like say, well, I work 60 hours a week, so why should they bitch about it? I'm like, well, they're working more than 60 hours a week. We talk about crunch, but even if they are working 60 hours a week, they're making video games. Like they're making things that we love that other people will play. Like I deliver packages for a living. Like that doesn't bring that brings like a few seconds of joy to people, like because they got something. Yeah. That's it. They're making video games, something that we're gonna cherish for hours, decades, years, for the rest of our lives. And I want those people to love what they're doing, so they keep making things that I cherish for whether it's a week, a month, game of the year, game of the decade, game of the generation, game of a lifetime, whatever. I want them to like being in that industry. Like we hear about, like there's shortages everywhere in the world, but in video games especially, all these studios, they announce games 6 years early. Like they just started development on a week ago. All they have is a logo because they're trying to recruit people to come work for them because there's such a shortage. It's like, I don't understand it. It blows my mind. It's like, why would I'm going to rant. I'm sorry, Gables, for ranting so much. I'm taking a lot of space on this one. But when I see that shit, it just like, fucking think for 10 seconds. It's like they're making something for our entertainment that we're going to buy and we're going to love, most likely. Why do you want these people to be miserable? Because they're just going to fucking leave the industry and go do something else. It's like, who wants that? Now we're going to have we're going to be demanding more with less people. And then other people are going to crunch. And then everybody's going to work harder because there's less people. The thing we're all doing. Why make it harder for other people? Why should other people be miserable because you're miserable? I work, I'm working at a job right now. I'm not going to say much about it, but the morale's terrible. Everybody's leaving, so everybody's got to work more. We keep more people in. They're miserable. They leave. It sucks, and we're working long hours. It's miserable, and that's a miserable place to be. It's miserable all the time, But so I'm not going to sit there and listen. Like when I sit there and see somebody, I'm not going to get mad at somebody else because they're not working that many hours and being miserable too. Like that's fucking stupid. It's like, hey, good for you because you work. If you're working a job where you're happy and you're not working such miserable, and like the people are being treated well, being paid well, and having a good time with what they're doing, fucking awesome. That's good for you. I'm not gonna sit there like I'm jealous. I'm mad because I'm jealous, but I'm not mad at you. Like I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, Gables, to take so much time on that one. That's my rant. Every time I hear about crunch, people get mad about people complaining about crunch. It baffles me. So I don't know if there's anything. Is there anything you want to add on the crunch thing and the morale stuff there?
Hmm. After thinking much about it, it's like I don't really have too much really to share in regards to the whole thing about crunch and this and that. Obviously it's something that incredibly sucks because it leads to burnout, and also it leads to a lot of people getting angry, frustrated, and wanting to leave because of the amount of crap you have to endure on a daily basis with that stuff. I mean, I've been in the opposite end of the spectrum and stuff to where, yeah, I have worked my fair share of days. I've also worked my fair share of like weekends and stuff over the years. But, well, fortunately and stuff, I mean, yeah, even though I have been in the place where I have been like susceptible to like a lot of burnout stuff with maybe like a week off in the entirety of like a year at some points and stuff. But at the same point, it's like I don't get the mentality of like, hey, I work this much more than you do and stuff, so you have to be as miserable as I am, or hey, I need to justify myself because oh hey, I'm suffering this thing, so why can't you go forth and work the same amount as I am? I never understood that concept. But other than that, though, it's like, it's just kind of is what it is, though, and it sucks that a lot of this crunch stuff happens, but I am happy to hear that they have alleviated some bit of it at Rockstar Games, and hopefully that's truthful and not something that they're just saying as a PR front.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's pretty awesome. Like, a couple developers tweeted out when Last of Us Part 1, the remake, that went gold a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
There's a handful of developers out there. It's like really excited about this game coming out, and mentioned this is the first time I put a game out and didn't have to crunch. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. That's good.
Well, that's
like,
cool.
More of this, please. So I'm always happy when reports come out of bad work environments. I'm not happy it's happening, but I'm happy it comes out because that's how we make changes, not just in that industry, in all the industries. So that's I don't know, but sorry for the rant, Gables. But I've been just seeing that a lot. I see it all the time, but this week with GTA being like kind of come up. This is one of the biggest. This is one of the sequel to one of the biggest games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of hit a nerve this week. But let's move on to some actually really exciting news, Gables. It's been kind of a weird. It's been the last couple ones a little more of a downer. This one, pretty fucking exciting if you ask me. Mario Kart 8 Wave 2 get announced.
Yes.
So it's coming next Thursday. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm looking at my calendar here. August 4th. 8 new tracks. We have a list here. We have New York a Minute, which is from the Mario Kart Tour, which is the mobile game.
Okay.
Snowland from GBA. Waluigi fucking Pinball, Gables from the DS.
The old best DS course. I loved that one.
Yes. DS, the best Mario Kart ever. Yeah, one of my favorite tracks from that game. I didn't know this, but people talk about this news. I didn't realize Waluigi Pinball is like a lot of people's favorite fucking track. I didn't realize. I thought it was just mine, but it seems like it's everybody's. So yeah, Sydney Sprint, which is also from Tour, Mushroom Gorge from Wii, yes. Mario Circuit 3 from SNES, Calamari Desert from N64, and Sky High Sunday. Do you know what that's from, Gables? I have no idea.
Sky High Sunday. I think that was also a Mario Kart Tour type of thing.
Was it? Because like all the other ones, like I looked up, like it told you what console it came to, like which version it was on, and Sky High Sunday was not any of them. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really liked the Wave 1. It's I have talked about this time. It's like it's exciting. Like to me, like it's kind of a bummer they're not full blown remakes with like the Mario Kart 8 mechanics into it, but this is a 8+ year old game, getting new old content for it in 2022 is exciting to me. For $25, I bought the DLC. I bought the $25 DLC, like, and 64 tracks. That's a whole fucking new game for $25. Yeah, this is exciting. I'm excited. Just have a reason to go back, keep playing this game. What about you?
Well, absolutely. With the announcements of these new courses that are coming in the Wave 2, the whole past stuff, it has me more excited to want to play Mario Kart 8. I mean, I've been subsequently waiting until like the whole entirety of the thing goes forth and releases before I can actually spend my money. But at the same time, don't you have
the expansion pack? Sorry, cut you off, but you have the expansion pack.
I do.
It's on there.
I do have the expansion pack. I could go forth and play it and stuff like that. But I'm one of those ones and stuff where for Mario Kart content like that, I just want to spend the whole $25 just outright, because that way I'm not logged into like bound to the subscription thing in case it runs out or whatever the heck.
Yeah,
But
I understand.
but bear in mind and stuff, the tracks that are presented, there are a lot of ones I recognize. The ones for the Game Boy Advance one, I mean, for Super Circuit, I remember playing Super Circuit plenty of times, like as a teenager. The Wii one was also pretty exciting too. I mean, Mushroom Gorge, that's a course I used to play a lot of, like with friends online. But obviously, the more exciting ones, other than like say Waluigi's Pinball, which that was a good one for the DS version of it. I love the idea that Calamari Desert is in there. I mean, a fucking refresh of the old N64 track from like the first cup of Mario Kart 64. I love the back when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe released on the Switch. I absolutely loved how they did Toad Turnpike in that one, and they remixed that one, and it was less like kind of a boring sort of esque type of feel to it, and it felt like more engaging. It felt like it was more whimsical and fun in some aspects of it, to where you can do like boost pads and like the ends of the walls and navigate around the trucks and do this and this and that. I'm interested in seeing how they do it for like Calamari Desert, to see how it would go forth in range. Maybe there's something more we can do that shortcut and stuff with the whole train track shit. I would love to see that personally, but I'm really liking the Wave 2 content that was revealed so far.
Yeah, I've been pretty happy. Even the first wave had the Paris level in it from Tour. And I was shocked how much I really liked that one. I figured the Tour tracks they've been making were probably just like nothing tracks.
Right.
And I was shocked, playing, because like I played like all 10 minutes of the Mario Kart Tour one on my phone. I don't want to play games on my phone.
I never played that personally.
Yeah, and so so it's exciting because we're basically, like, to us, it's like getting new tracks in. It's like exciting to like bring back old tracks that we love, like I said, Waluigi Pinball, but like it's definitely like, like I only had a 64 for a very short amount of time. I never actually owned Mario Kart on 64. I remember like my cousin owned it, and I played a lot of it there, but I never like played like I didn't play as much as like the one on like GameCube or DS or SNES. Like I don't think I never owned like the GBA one, and I didn't like, I just Mario Kart 7 on 3DS. I barely played. Even Mario Kart on the Wii, I didn't play all that much of. It's didn't like the gyro controls. At that point, I was over.
My gosh. I'll tell you what, though. Controls. When it came to the whole Mario Kart-esque things for like the handheld stuff, I mean, I played plenty of Super Circuit, but I felt like I was disappointed when I played Mario Kart 7, because I played a bit of it because I loved playing on the 3DS, but at the same time, it was not as good as I thought it was for Mario Kart DS, which that one I played through with every single character. I did every single thing that I wanted to do. The online stuff was fun, even though you had a bunch of people that were cheating, going through the snaking shit. But then with Mario Kart 8, when that came out for the Wii U, I spent a good solid like 30 hours at the time. I think it was like my Game of the Year, like in one of our things that we've had for like our Game of the Year things. If I remember.
Which one?
Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U.
2014.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my handy dandy notebook cable so I can look it up for you.
I remember it. I remember having it topped pretty high.
It was in my top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because it was really fun. It was also pretty good in regards to Mario Kart stuff.
Fantastic.
And
in fact, it was your Game of the Year, and it was my number 5 of the year.
Yep. So with that, it's like I loved playing that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to more stuff with the whole wave content.
Yeah. No, I'm with you though. Yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of like it's a good mixture of getting, bringing back tracks that we love and getting essentially, like I said, new tracks to us with the tour stuff. And like Snowland is kind of cool because that's from the GBA, and I said, I don't even think I ever played it. I do actually know. I take it back. I remember playing like that on the, like, I think it was like at Walmart. The demo of that was on Walmart, the GBA version, playing it there. Like Calamari Desert, like I know I probably played it, but I don't remember really anything about it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this is pretty exciting. It's like 8 new tracks all over again. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's exciting. I can't wait to check that out next week. But Gables, move on to this will be our last topic of the week.
Okay.
It's kind of we had some bigger topics this week, but not a lot of like major topics. So like there's like I don't have like another news section of the week for you. And this one's kind of a smaller one. It was funny, last week we were talking about World of Champions, the Ubisoft game. That's like when you got to throw the ball through the hole thing. That's like the free to play game that came out at the end of May. We're talking about Ubisoft, and like I was even bringing this up, like that game kind of came out like at the end of May, like May 23rd or something like that, and no one's talking about it. And then literally the next day, Jeff Grubb mentioned on the podcast that the game looks like it's gonna be shutting down at the end of season 3, which Gables, I was shocked to find out. I'm like, oh, season 3, that's probably a while away. This game's only been out for 2 months. Gables, it's already in season 3, so it sounds it's gonna be shutting down soon. Ubisoft did come out and say that that's not happening. So Jeff Grubb hasn't, like, he said that like that's what he's heard, but he couldn't confirm it. But that he's just kind of like say like that's what he's heard. So he wasn't confirming it, but he mentioned it. So I don't know, Gables. This like. We're in this weird era with gaming. I feel real weird era with content, across the board, movies, TV shows, video games. Where like I remember like the early days of like when Netflix was a big thing, and like slowly streaming services became bigger and bigger. Where it's like like a big thing came out, like it was like everybody talked about, like that was all like we talk about the water cooler moment, like like the new episode of Lost came out, or Game of Thrones. Like, I think Game of Thrones is like one of the last big shows, like where it felt like everybody was watching it, and that was kind of like that show was like started like early 2000s, early 2010 era. I can't remember exactly when, and then like kind of in the middle there, that's when like streaming became the thing. But as like now there's like a million streaming services out there. It's like nowadays was like it used to be a lot easier to like, and especially especially we were younger back then and we had more free time. So it's like when people would talk about a great show, it was easy to like, I used to be able to like keep up on all the shows I wanted to watch, all the weekly shows, all the streaming shows. I'd even like go back and rewatch shows, and on top of play all my games I want to play. And nowadays it's like you hear about shows coming out like, oh, this show is excellent, and I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds great. And it's like I can't keep up with the shows that I want to watch, let alone start a new show. So it's like on top of like everything else of life, first world problems, I guess, there on that one. But we see that now, I feel like in video games now, where like
absolutely we do.
Even like there's like so many games come out nowadays, like in indie space. Like there's like hundreds of new games come on Steam every day. But even like in the bigger games, like whether it's like the triple I indie games, whatever you want to call them, to like the big developers putting out smaller games. It's like there's so many games that come out nowadays that have an audience. We talk all the time. There's always these like, I'll hear about these games that come out or that have been out, and like they have huge audiences that play them every day, and I've never heard of those games. I'll hear them probably every month. I'll hear about a new, like this game that's been out for a couple weeks or months or years. And I'm like, I've never heard of that game, but apparently
like
people
Lost
are
Ark.
playing it. Like Lost Ark. There's like Valheim. There's like fucking Valorant. Like Clash of Clans or whatever. Like those games, like people play those games still. Like, and it's like, really? Okay. Or like, I'm like, what the hell is that game? Like, oh, apparently it's been out for 3 years and it's one of the most played games of all time. But like, like we're in this weird era where it's like, we like I've talked about I've used this example all the time. I remember like in the 360 era, like that PS3 era with like the Talking Ship group, where like we would have gamer nights, but we'd always end up playing Call of Duty because it was the one game that everybody owned.
Yep.
Because that was like the game. And like, yeah, there'd be other games that come out, like we'd have like what's the Left 4 Dead or something like that,
Left 4 Dead, or the occasional like Brink kind of gamer nights. Some of you guys
Brink
had.
Or Battleborn or Overwatch, stuff would pop up, but like we'd always like slowly kind of idle back to Call of Duty, because that was like the problem is like there'd be 8 of us in a group and like on the party chat, and like 8 of us own Call of Duty, but only 3 of us own this game, or 5 own this game, or whatever.
Yeah.
And now we're in this era, like Rocket League was a big deal. That was early this generation, where it's like that was a PS Plus game. That game took off, and we all had it. So that was a game we played for years because that was like the game that everybody had. And now we're in this era where it's like, yeah, like everybody can play all these games because like there's so many free to play games that come out that are usually very good to 7 out of 10s at worst to even 8 out of 10s or whatever. But it's like, yeah, it's all free to play, but it's like there's so many of them that like it's hard to like stick. Like what's your thing to keep us coming back? Like only like everybody. Most people can only have like one game they they go back to like as their comfort food. Like for Gables, like for you for a long time it's been Destiny 2. For me, for my entire life, basically it's been Madden. Like there's always the other game we're playing, like of the moment, whether it's a new hotness or whatever, and then there's the game that we go back to all the time. Like I said, Gables, Destiny 2, me, Madden. Um, and yeah, these games might jump up and like have like a good weekend or a good month or whatever, but then they die off, and it's like, and we're in this era where like, yeah, like World Champions came out and there was like nothing bad about it. It's kind of like, it's like when we talk about like the Mario sports games, where it's like Mario can just like Nintendo can just shit out a 7 out of 10. It's just like, yeah, cool. They made a very good game, like Mario Golf or Mario Tennis or what's Mario Strikers. Like it's technically it's a very fun game to play, but it's like after like a weekend or a week, there's no reason to go back to it.
No.
And a game like World Champions is in a rough spot where it's like, well, we can put this game out, even say it's $10. It's like probably maybe they want to charge 30 for it, but even say it's $10. It's like, well, someone's like, like one person buys it. It's like, well, now you gotta convince your friends to spend all that money, convince your friends to buy that game, and then now you gotta like convince them not only to buy the game, but like make them feel like they justify the purchase by continuing to play it. Well, even if you make it free, it's like, cool, like we're gonna download and play it, but it's like, all right, cool, like what's the reason to go back to keep playing this game? Because there's like 50 other free games to play. So like it's not only it's impossible now because there's so many games to play that it's hard enough to get your friends to play games with you, but it's even harder to like convince them to like play a game that's fucking to buy a game. Now you have games that are free and there's a million of them out there, and it's like game like a Roller Champions, and like, or we talk about like Friday the 13th or like Predator or something like that. Games are like we've enjoyed, but it's like everybody's got it, but it's like, oh no, I'm playing this other game there that's like a multiplayer game, or like, yeah, this other game, like it's just, I don't know, like World Champions is not rocking a hard place, but yeah, it's like we charge for it. It's not as many people are gonna play it, but it's like, cool, we make it free. Well, the game's, yeah, it's good, but it's like I don't really feel the need to keep coming back to play this game or put money into it. So I don't know. I mean, we're in this tough era now where it's like if you can hit on these free to play games, you can make hundreds of millions, billions on these games. But if you miss, you're done. Like you got a very minute amount of time. People, like you can't. You got one shot really. There's very few chances. Like everybody was like, well, Siege did it, No Man's Sky did it, Destiny did it. But it's like, well, cool. For every one of those that, like, I always bring it up, for every one of those that did it, there's a million that didn't do it. So I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts on? I'm sorry, I've been rambling a lot lately. I'm sorry, Gables. Anything you want to say on Roller Champions?
For Roller Champions, it's just it was a game that initially was announced. Hardly anybody,
like 6 years ago.
Like, yeah, hardly anybody really kept tabs on it. From my personal experience of like trying to listen into a bunch of like different types of game releases like around the time period, I didn't even know this game released up until like not even a week or two ago.
Yeah, when I told you on the podcast last week.
Exactly. That's the thing about it, is when you don't do a good job and try to advertise your game's release and stuff like that, how the fuck are people like, say, you and I, the average gamer, are going to be wanting to play a specific game or even interested or even knowing about this game existing and stuff if there hasn't been any type of effort to be put inside the advertising campaign upon it, like either on YouTube or on the most social media sites like, say, TikTok, Twitter, or Facebook, or wherever the hell. But even after all of that, it's like the game in and of itself is still kind of a generic free-to-play game at best.
Yeah.
And
it's like
it's still
it
was also one of those type of games, where it could be relatively enjoyable from people, just like a go forth and pick up and play aspect. I mean, I've personally have never played Roller Champions, and from what it sounds like, they are still not done with any type of like content stuff yet. But it wouldn't surprise me if this game really lost a lot of, like, say, popularity that it initially had, possibly with them launch and stuff, that it'll probably be shutting down soon. That's from what I've been hearing, mostly in regards to what I've honestly I've read through like the news articles and stuff that's been presented here in the podcast, and also through like the amount of exposure from like other gamers, because I see things like on YouTube and stuff, like hardly anybody's talking about roller champions, anything. I mean, even on Twitch and stuff, it's not even upon like the top, I want to say the top 20 or top 30 in regards to people wanting to watch it on Twitch and stuff like that. So the popularity of it is probably like at that point to where it may be okay for like some niche, but not really upon the top forefront. But at the same time, it's like it's one of those subset of free-to-play release games and stuff to where it either sticks incredibly well or it just fades into obscurity. And I feel like Roller Champions is one of those games that is dangerously close, if not already, faded into obscurity.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. Like I said, like you didn't even know it released until I said something. It's been out for 2 months. And I mentioned this when they first announced it. Like they announced the game like 5-6 years ago, and then the week before the game came out, they announced we haven't heard anything about the game for years. They announced the week before it's coming out that hey, it's coming out next week, and that was like the one big push they had for it. And like I mean,
ridiculous.
That's pretty bad. And like we talk about, like we look at like Ubisoft who made Roller Champions, also Skull and Bones. That game, they're shitting that game out in November, and they're charging people $70 for that. And that everybody's talking about like that game's probably gonna come out. Then they're gonna probably support it for like maybe a few months, whatever they're promising if you buy the $100 edition, and then they're gonna stop it there. Like they're just trying to get like they're just trying to put it out so they don't have to pay back the Taiwanese government. And like even like games that do have a big budget and big push behind it, like a Battlefield 2042, a game for all intents and purposes is a very well made game. It's just like no reason to go back to it, and they charge people full price for that game. I don't know if that game would have done much better if it was free to play. They probably made way more money charging for it than putting out free. But like that game, they're literally just putting out the things they promised to the people that bought the expensive version of the game. Like, and then that's it, and then the game's done. And I mean, they're already working on the next game, so it's I don't know. Buyer beware more than ever on these like live service games, because yeah, like I said, yeah, like we're gonna come out. I mean, maybe I don't know. It depends on what you want, I guess, of them too, though. So I don't know. But Gables, let's move on to what we've been playing. If you don't mind, I'm gonna go first because I'm not gonna take too much time. I promise. I've only played a little bit more as Dust Falls. I haven't had time to really play games this week. I played a little bit more today. I just finished chapter 5. So I've just got chapter 6 left to do. Still really enjoying it. I don't want to spend. I'll finish it probably tomorrow. I'll give my final thoughts on next week. But if you want like a full thing, I talked about a lot last week, but I'm loving the game so far. I've been in like a weird mood, Gables, where I've just been like wanting like a really good shooter game to play. And I dabbled in a couple games today. You already know about Fortnite. I re-downloaded Fortnite. And I actually didn't realize this. I had enough V-Bucks. I bought the John Wick. 'Cause I go back like once a year and play some Fortnite for like I get into it for like a week or a weekend or a couple weeks maybe. And I didn't realize this. I bought the John Wick skin last year.
Yeah.
And they announced the new John Cena skin. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna check. Like, they announced the no build mode a while back, and I really wanted to like. And I've talked about like I'm not good at the building. I was never interested in getting good at building, and like I was decent enough. I can usually get into like the top 25, top 20 a lot. But then like when you get down to the end, it's always like the people that are really good at the game, like especially the building.
Yeah.
And that's where I get wrecked. And now I'm like, man, I want to jump in. And like the people it's been getting a lot of buzz, especially with the John Cena stuff. So I actually went and hopped into the game, and I actually didn't realize I had enough V-Bucks still, which is like the in-game currency, to buy the John Cena skin. So I bought the John Cena skin. He does like the "You Can't See Me" and it plays his theme song, which is pretty cool. I was like, they have LeBron James, but in the Toon Squad thing, I'm like, I kind of want to buy that instead. But I bought John Cena though. So I've been going around. I put my John Wick skin to rest, which is tough to do. And I got my John Cena out, and I played about a half dozen games today. And I've gone in the top 10 every single game, a no build. And right before we hopped on Skype, Gables, I did my best game ever. I had the game of my fucking life in Fortnite. I got 8 kills. I was the final guy. I was the final two, and I made it to the final circle. Because like eventually, over time, the circle gets smaller and smaller.
Right.
And I got it's the final circle, and I was like, said me and one other guy, and I'm like, where the fuck is this fucker at? And unfortunately, he saw me first. He sniped me, knocked my health pretty much down to nothing, and then I still got a few shots in on him, but he killed me. But I mean, I was like trembling and shaking. I needed like 10 minutes to like go like calm down because I was so nervous. I was shaking. I'm like, I had never won before. I've never done this good before. Like I said, I killed 8 guys, which I mean, in a game with only 100 characters, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
At least, especially for me, at least, I'm not very like, I would play a lot of those games where I would like get into the top 25 and get 0 to 1 kills. Sometimes like a 2 kills would be a good game for me. And like I've been actually like regularly getting like multiple kills. So, it's making it very much so I want to play this game more and more. Especially, with John Cena skins, it makes it more fun too. So, the games, I've always liked the game. The game's always fun, but like having this no build thing, like, makes it like, oh, I think I'm just gonna keep this game downloaded on my PS5 and jump back into it again. But Gables, I had played another game today.
Okay.
And this one might shock you, Gables. It's a game that you love. It's near and dear to your heart.
Uh-huh.
I'm playing Destiny 2 today.
Oh, yes. Okay, you're playing Destiny 2 today. Okay.
Yeah. So I bought early last year, early 2021. I bought the Forsaken. Is it Forsaken or Forspoken?
Okay,
No, it's Forsaken.
Forsaken.
Forspoken's another game. I bought Forsaken and the Shadowkeep DLC because it was like $5 a piece.
Yeah.
And like I got into it. I played a little bit of it, but I played like 10 hours, like just fucking around, and I fell off of it. Like I said, I've been in like that weird shooter mood. And I jumped back in today, played it, and they like made me like play like you're in Mars now, and like Mars reappeared, I guess. I don't fucking know. Yeah. And then some character like Sabathin or Sabbath. I don't fucking know.
Yes.
That one, yes. Was there, and like it's basically I didn't realize I was playing the first like mission of Witch Keep. Is that what it's called? Witch Queen?
Oh, the Witch Queen, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I guess like, I don't know if it's like free to everybody or if they just put it out for free to like kind of get talking into playing it. But I did the entire first mission when you're on Mars and then you go on the ship, her ship, and then you fight her and then shit happens. But playing that, oh man, I always thought about this. I always like Destiny. Destiny always feels good to play. I have no fucking clue what's going on. It's just one of those things I'll never fully understand. It's like the Canadian Destroyer in wrestling. I don't understand how it works. I'll never be able to understand it. Destiny is that same level for me. The lore will never make sense to me. But yeah, the game's fun to play. I don't know if I'm gonna like play too much more of it, but I'm just in that weird mood where I'm just like, I just want to like jump into something. I think more of it too is like, I gotta fill that Madden hole in my heart right now because like I've been trying to play like Madden the last few weeks, and I'll play a game and I'm just like, Madden 23 is so close. So it's like I don't want to play Madden 22 anymore.
When is 23 coming out?
August 19th. Which sucks because like, so like they do like the EA Play has like so if you buy like the $100 edition,
yeah,
you get 3 days early, so August 16th. But they used to in the past, if you had EA Play, you get that 10-hour trial.
Yes.
And they used to put it out like 5 days early from release date, but they'd always do it 5 days early from the early access version.
Oh, okay.
So if like it's coming on August 19th, but the early access one, if you buy the early access edition, August 16th. So then really you'd be able to play it August 11th. And that's always the way it's been. So it's really been like 7-8 days before like the normies would be able to play the game. So it's always been great. So I'm like, I'm never, I'm playing on the weekends. I'm not going to probably max out my 10 hours. So it's been great for the last like 3 or 4 years they've been doing EA Play for me. So I didn't have to buy the expensive edition anymore. I'm like, cool. I'll just play. I'll get it even earlier than before, and I don't have to spend I'll get 10% off from buying because I have EA Play, and then bam, I get to play a week early. I'm
actually kind of interested in seeing like Madden 23 and how well it's going to do.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm going to put 100, even if it's bad, I'll still put 100 plus hours into it. But, yeah. So I mean, but I guess they fixed that this year. So now it's the early access thing for EA Play is only going to be, I guess, August 16th, which would be the people that buy the $100 edition. So you don't actually get it early anymore like we used to. So I think they realize like, well, people don't have to. People get to play it a week early without buying the obscenely priced edition. So yeah, so that's kind of a bummer. So I was thinking I was gonna be able to play it in like 2 weeks, but I still gotta wait like 2.5 weeks now. So I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So I'm excited for it. I'm obviously I top all the time. Madden's my comfort game. I put 150 hours into it every year. So
have they ever actually set the embargo when the reviews are going to be going live for that?
It's usually like the day or two before the early access edition one. So I would bet. So what, August 6th? So August 19th is a Friday.
Okay.
So August 16th would be, I think, a Tuesday then. So I wouldn't be surprised then if August 12th the reviews come out. But the reviews, I mean, the reviews are always, it's always like, it's gonna be in the 70s. So I mean, if you're thinking about like for fantasy critic reasons, um, there's very little benefit to adding it to your team.
No. I wasn't thinking more of a fantasy critic thing. I was thinking more or less of like an actual go forth and play a fucking game of football, considering
Yeah.
I like to play myself a good game of Madden or two if I feel like it. And it's like,
Well,
like
yeah.
last year's one I didn't really like too much. I mean, it was literally one of those things where I downloaded it on Game Pass. I tried playing it for at least a few hours or something like that. And as soon as I was done with like one game of like trying to play it as the Niners and stuff, I just uninstalled it. I was just not interested. But the
Well,
2021 one, I just played like an entire season and stuff of that. I thought it was okay.
yeah. I imagine the game. I mean, I don't think anything like they've they've done like some changes to it, but like I said, you have the best deal in gaming, right?
Right. Yep.
So that means there'll be a trial for you to play in a couple weeks. So you can play a 10-hour trial. So I mean, just I would say when it comes out, just download it on your Xbox
Yeah.
and then check it on there. Because I mean, yeah, I'm in. I've obviously like there's not really anything you can do probably to like not get me to buy Madden. So yeah, I don't know. Like Madden's my comfort food. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for that. So I'm just kind of waiting out on that one. But Gibbles, we've been playing, buddy.
Neon White.
Oh, nice.
My God, I've
Okay.
been playing plenty of Neon White. Let me tell you something. That one more game mentality, like I reiterated upon like last week, I'm going to sort of share a little bit of tidbits for this week as well. This is the type of game where you go forth and you expect to play like maybe a couple of minutes or something like that, because the little levels and stuff don't last for too long. They usually last maybe for like up to about 30 seconds to a minute or so for each one of the courses and stuff. Each of them are kind
I'm gonna change my sexual nickname to Neon White. Sorry, go on.
But
30 seconds to a minute.
no, I think the most interesting part about this game and stuff is not just like this, like the little like story settings aspects and stuff. It's not just the fact that it feels so fluid in regards to the gameplay and how you're able to subsequently like stack on specific routes and specific type of like card management in order to try to get the quickest times possible and stuff. But it's also one of the things I like is like how well done the level design is in regards to each level that I've tried out so far, because it's like each of them have like rhyme and reason upon how creative it is to try to fit like little goodies here and there, try to fit like specific type of hidden aspects, to where okay, you've got the highest times. I mean, you got the best time possible in this regards. You got the platinum type of medal for that course, but all of a sudden it's like, okay, I need to find this random gift thing. I need to gift to one of the characters and stuff to try to like increase their affinity and stuff like that, and the relationship with that specific neon, and it's like I have to try to find these damn presents. And what's kind of hilarious about it is I went through the first two initial episodes and stuff, because that's what they're structured as. It's not like chapters. They're structured by like episodes. I think there's like about 10 to 12 in general inside of this game, and I'm like on episode 4. But
there's 12 chapters.
12 chapters. Okay, so if there's 12 chapters and stuff like that, each of them have like about 10 levels, roughly 10 levels and stuff. that you go through like one after another and stuff. You can choose to replay ones if you want to just replay that level and just get that one done and over with and then go on to another one. How I have been doing it personally is I'm going through all 10, like in syncopation, stuff like that, like finishing off the episode first and then going back and try to redo and get the best times. Then on top of that, getting the gifts and stuff for the other neons and stuff I can give to or other characters inside of that game. And I'm having a blast just doing it because I am re-going through older levels, obviously, right? And because I'm more akin to it, and like I've said it before, I think last week, it has that sort of a Mirror's Edge sort of vibe mixed in with some like quick, even more fluid content. It's like the mobility of Mirror's Edge, right? When you're controlling Faith and stuff, and you're doing parkour stuff and doing this and that, I get that same on type of feeling when I'm playing Neon White, only less of having to jump over stuff or like doing a parkour and try to avoid enemies and this and that. It's more of a sort of like a run and gun-esque type of thing. Still like how in Doom 2016, how you're able to go through and do a lot of the action stuff, like just shooting a whole bunch of demons, doing this, that. You get that sort of adrenaline rush, is what I'm trying to say. Inside,
God damn it! Now I'm gonna buy Neon White.
dude, fucking Neon White.
You listed Doom.
That's the game I akin it to in terms of its fast pace, like gameplay and stuff. Because like I was saying, man, it's like it takes you maybe about 30 seconds to about maybe 30 to 50 seconds in regards to complete one level inside of these little like episodes and stuff like that. But there's 10 levels per episode. You can go through and replay them to the highest times. You can do this stuff. The game's stylish as fuck. The game is freaking quick and smooth, like I've just been saying before. But let me tell you something. Once you give these gifts to these specific characters instead of Neon White, either it being like other various colors in the neons and stuff, or like certain characters in the game, like this freaking cat that has like a fucking cigar or something like that he's called Mickey, I think it is, and it's like he gives you like other types of like assignments and shit as well. And then you have this specific kind of bar for the neons and stuff like that this one dude, I think it was called Ray or something, like opens up and stuff because these angels in heaven, they have their own like separate like things that they can only enjoy them like for themselves and stuff. So there's not like anything else for like say the neons that are tasked with once a year coming through and like trying to be the best by eliminating a whole bunch of demons instead of lower heaven or wherever the hell. And then like the whole key aspect of this game, is you want to become the number one neon, right? And so every time you complete these levels, you can improve your rank. So you start off with like rank 100, right? And you can improve it like incrementally and stuff. So I'm like at rank 67 right now, or roughly. So I've been going through every single level, gotten the platinum through every single thing so far. I've given a lot of gifts to like the neons and stuff. But what's interesting is you can unlock a couple of different type of options here. So you can unlock a dialogue that's going to help you maybe better understand the character's motivations, or help in regards to maybe having your own character, like that you control Neon White and stuff. Remember certain tidbits of like the past or something of that sort. But for every neon that you go forth and you improve the relationship and stuff, they give you these sort of like these trials that you go to their specific like these trials and stuff you can zoom into and stuff. They're kind of like one-off type of things. You don't have to race to get better times inside of these ones. So for Neon Yellow, for example, he has these type of gimmick in terms of these navigation things where you can't use the discard function for your card, so you have to try to think more on your feet in regards to using the weapons like manually as weapons without having to discard the card in order to like you regularly would do. For Neon Red, the sniper woman and stuff like that, there's like a theme in regards to having to navigate like these long ass shots and stuff like that, and like navigate throughout long terrains and this and that. And then for Neon Violet, it's more like a masochistic sort of like obstacle course that you generally have to go through. And what's most hilarious and stuff is the last one I went through for like this whole trials and stuff. I'm going down this elevator, right? And each of the elevator floors and stuff, you're trying to go and try to navigate like down further and further and stuff, while you have a pit of spikes. It's this like freaking thing of spikes that's like just going down and stuff, and you have to avoid getting crushed. And what's hilarious about it is like, sure, you're gonna go down, and then there's certain floors that kind of repeat, like the floors repeat themselves and stuff, and you're thinking to yourself like, do I have to do some sort of specific pattern in order to get down there? But no, all of a sudden it start going down quicker and quicker, and then all of a sudden it starts going down to negative numbers, and like, what the fuck? Why is it going down negative numbers? And then I went down for this one course so low that I actually bottomed out, and then on the fucking like, this was so hilarious because it's like you have the pit of spikes, right, that's up above you that gets caught, right, and then here you are in the lowest point of this supposed like obstacle course, and there's a sign. There's a sign in just bold white letters and stuff, and you read it, it's like Loser Island. And basically, it just pokes fun of the players like, wow, you were stupid enough to follow it all the way down and stuff. And no, look at that. Now you have to restart it all over again because you got yourself fucking stuck at the bottom. But that's that gimmick for that trial for Neon Violets. I mean, all the trials that I've done so far for each of the Neons, they have been fun, they have been memorable, and they are very distinct upon it. I know I'm not even halfway through this game already, but let me tell you something. During the times that I've had played it, either in handheld mode, while falling asleep in bed, or fucking in my chair right here and stuff, and like playing this game on my Switch, on my TV, it has been an absolute blast. I think I spent like a good solid like hour and a half or something like that just the other night, just playing it to replay the levels and get caught up. But yeah, this is something that I feel like more gamers should play and experience because of how easy it is to pick up and play, how fun the initial aspect of trying to do this one more game mentality stuff. I mean, sure, it does have a bit of an anime art style to it. It may turn off some people. I mean, there are some like things I immediately noticed right off the bat in terms of like, say, the dubbing type of things. It's fine. It's not like terrible or anything of it. The character you control as Neon White, he has one of the most distinctive voices from like the anime dub community and stuff, as he voiced roles for pretty famous anime characters and stuff in the US. One of the most notable being like Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. But in terms of the game, Tyler, if you even have a little bit of an interest, man, you can always wait for a sale, try to pick it up or whatsoever. And God bless it, I have a freaking gnat on my computer screen. And
source.
I hate those things. But dude, definitely pick it up if you feel like you want to have something that you can play on the go for your Switch, because this is the most ideal type of game to play portably.
Yeah. Gables, you had me at Doom, and you lost me at anime.
But like I was saying, man, it's got that action, that fast-paced sort of thing that Doom 2016 has, along with the terrain and like navigation of like a Mirror's Edge. But at the same time and stuff, it has a really cool ass use of the whole discarding card system and stuff. You know, so you'll find different ways to just complete courses and shit. But other Neon White, you know, when Nintendo did their Switch update, they updated their like the games that they released for the Super Nintendo and the NES and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So I did have a chance to try out some of the games, like that obscure Japanese-only game like Project Diva or some of that sort. That whole like mech controlling game. I tried playing that.
Is this like a prequel to Diva from Overwatch?
No, not in the slightest. This is something that was in Japan only, and I can understand why. I could understand a lot of what was going on, and it's not just because it was in a different language, but because the concept of the game in and of itself kind of reminds me of like a you control this mech, you're supposed to travel around to other planets, right? But then you have to clear off like certain other planets or get resources from other planets and stuff. But I ended up getting lost within the first 10 minutes and stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what, this isn't too fun. So I turned off that one. Tried playing a little bit of Kirby's Avalanche because I've never actually played that game before on the Super Nintendo.
That's the Puyo game?
Yeah, it's basically the Puyo stuff. Fun fact, that Puyo game in and of itself, Kirby's Avalanche and Dr. Robotnik's Beam Machine, they're basically the same game, right? Just different skins through the different consoles.
What like popular franchise didn't get a knockoff Tetris game in that era.
In that era,
like Zelda. And
God,
I think that's the list.
yeah,
like
yeah, pretty much Zelda. When I think about it, The Legend of Zelda didn't really have that full-on puzzle game in that generation specifically.
Yeah.
But let's see, I played a little bit of that. Didn't really. I played some bit of Kirby's Avalanche. Got kind of frustrated at stuff like the center end of it because it has that difficulty sort of spike to where it's an old school type of mentality and stuff where you have an easier time and stuff with some of these enemies, and all of a sudden you get to that one CPU or something like that that's just an absolute asshole and stuff, and just you're stuck on that one for so long of a times, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I can go past these other few, not that difficult, and all of a sudden you go to the next NPC that does, CPU character that does that. So I played Kirby's Avalanche. Not too sure if I want to continue on with that one because I'm not really in the mood for enduring that type of bullshit after playing through a lot of Pokemon Puzzle League. Enjoying my time with that, but at the same time, I am not doing the hardest difficulty on that mode. I mean, god damn it, I want to have my thumbs and my fingers intact.
You don't want your Mewtwo? You don't want to get Mewtwo?
Like I said, man, it's going to be one of those games where I'm probably going to continue with probably later down the line, but I'm in no hurry because I have beaten that game, but if I want to get everything in that game, I will definitely aim towards Mewtwo.
Well, yeah, you heard it here first. Gables, not a fan of Pokemon.
But the last game that released was called Fighter's History, and this is a game released by Data East, the same ones that have released like certain like arcade ports and stuff to consoles before and stuff. I know them predominantly through their Joe and Mac games, the Super Nintendo and like NES respectively. But Fighter's History, it's basically a Street Fighter 2 clone. And a lot of the characters are sort of modeled after like the more popular characters in that franchise. But I controlled the default character of like the arcade mode, the whole freaking story mode aspect of it, called like Sam Che or some of that sort, like Sam Che. It was hilarious because he's modeled after Sagat from like Street Fighter 2, right? And it's like he's mixed in with that other Street Fighter character that has Muay Thai backgrounds. I think his name is Adon from the Street Fighter Alpha series. And what's hilarious about it is, when you're playing a fighting game and you're playing on easy mode, or if you're playing on a fighting game that is not particularly good, is if you can repeatedly do the same type of moves or something like that, like say do a jump, like a neutral jump, and like do like a hard kick or something, you could just tell when the AI is going to do something, right? And you counteract them and you win matches that way. That was basically my entire run of on easy mode and stuff for fighters, for that fighters game and stuff like that for the Super Nintendo. And it was kind of hilarious though, because I'd be throwing like freaking fireballs. I'd be doing the whole Muay Thai stuff like Sagat would be doing. And what's hilarious about it is it goes through like all these random like courses and stuff, all these random countries. Like you could tell things that are inspired from like say Brazil or from China or from the United States. And then you get to the last couple of characters. There's an actual fighter in the game called Clown. Now just straight up Clown. And once you get to a stage, it is literally the most bizarre fucking thing that you can imagine inside of a fighting game, because you have this sort of a trippy ass dream sequence type of stage to where you're fighting this fighter, right? But at the background, you notice there's people juggling things in the clouds in the background. You see like also these bizarre fucking images and stuff in the back. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's actually inside the trailer when they advertise it, for the Nintendo Switch Online and stuff. One of the stages they show is of that stage in and of itself. And granted, that was the point in time where I'm like, yeah, of course, this is going to be some sort of bizarre shit. And that dude was like the second to last character in that game, that arcade mode that you can go forth and like complete. Then the last one kind of scared me for a minute, because the dude in of itself, his name is Karnov. The name itself wasn't scaring me. But I've watched fighting videos and stuff of like a particular character that's supposed to be the most bullshit, like final boss character of all time, and his name is Karnov. But the thing,
did he get his revenge?
Oh no, this dude wasn't the same game as what I was watching in that regards. But yeah, he was relatively easy. But then again, I completed that arcade mode on easy. I had maybe some inklings of fun, but I really wasn't too impressed with the game because it was too much of a clone of Street Fighter 2. Sure, there was some interesting like aspects in terms of the controls and like the different types of like character variations and stuff, but yeah, you can tell it was just like a cheap knockoff, quintessentially. So yeah, haven't tried that Switch Online update stuff. Not really impressed with the selection that Nintendo put out for the month of July. But yeah, that's it for me.
Alrighty. Well, guys, I think that will do it for us this week. If you like I said at the top of the show, if you're liking all this, you're joining us, and you still haven't subscribed, liked, shared, told a friend, ran outside, stopped the guy in the middle of the street, told him about it, pulled over if you're driving on the road, got out in the middle of the interstate, told people about it. What was that?
And then cursed them.
Yeah, that too. Cursed them, whatever you got to do. And told them about the DrunkNerds Podcast. What the fuck are you doing? Please do that. Like, share, subscribe, 5 stars. Hit that like button. All that fun jazz. Look in the show notes down at the bottom. You'll find the links to everything that we're on. But guys, I have been your host, Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables, everyone. And I want to tell you to have yourself a fun week. It takes a lot more effort to be angry than it is to be happy. So obviously be happy with what hand you've been dealt in life. But most importantly of all, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the DrunkNerds Podcast.
And hey, Gables.
Yeah.
Too sweet, baby.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya. So what